There are no shortcuts. There are no faster ways to a destination. There are no in life there are no shortcuts. I know with the emergence of AI, AI art, AI programming and all of this stuff that you are being led to believe that there's a shortcut to a destination. Maybe becoming a great programmer or becoming a great artist through these tools or becoming a great musician or a great writer. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Okay, I've been making art for 10 years. And no, I haven't seen amazing, earth shattering success by any means. But taking away the autonomy of the artist, of the programmer, which is an art, or of the writer through these tools is a shortcut. And it doesn't work. Okay? It doesn't matter how technically good it gets, it is always going to be missing that spirit, that soul of the process, the artistic process, right? It's it's not about some like mystical spiritual concept. It's about the process of making art, the workmanship that goes into it, the artisanal nature of it, the style, the personal experience being expressed through a work. That's what makes art art, not because it looks good or it sounds good or that it reads good. Okay? People want these shortcuts because they don't want to put in the work. We're living in a shortcut society right now where everyone wants the destination and they don't want to take the journey to get there. And the reality is the journey is the best part because once you get to the destination and you have a artistic um, an artistic product of your production, right? Not like a product in the consumer sense, but an offspring of your work, right? Um, then you just have it. There's nothing else there. But the journey to get there is the best part. That is the best part, right? I don't know what else to tell you. And just in general, there's like all of these get rich quick schemes. There's all of these grifts of crypto and NFTs and all of this stuff, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Sure, it might work for a month or two, and you might have a little bit more money. But once you have that money, and if you don't know what to do with it, you're just gonna spend it all, and then you're gonna be right back to where you were before, right? So you have to understand that if you are young, if you're in your 20s or yeah, if you're in your 20s or early 30s, right? That is the time to be taking the proper steps to accumulate money in a smart way and accumulating skills in a smart way that will carry you through life, right? So if you're an artist, it is better for you to focus on what your artistic process is and how that artistic process unfolds for you versus trying to find shortcuts and hacks to get to a specific conclusion, right? Because you are taking away a very valuable part of the human experience. It's not about getting good at art. It's not about being the best or whatever. It's about learning that things take time and learning that there is a process to things and that you are not just trying to produce a result for people to engage with. That is the cherry on top. That is the piece that's the sprinkles on the process, right? You should be figuring out an artistic process that is fun, that gives you enrichment, that fulfills you, and then whatever is the product of that is going to be great because the intention that you chose to put into it was great, right? But if you're not going to be intentional with whatever you're doing, then it's as good as AI art because AI art isn't intentional. It's to serve a particular purpose, which is look at this, this is cool, or haha, this is funny. And that's all AI art will ever be. It won't be an interesting conversation piece. It will never be a representation of someone's life or meaning, right? There is no meaning to AI art. You can't pull some deeper meaning out of a piece of AI art because it is inherently meaningless. It is noise. It is literally noise. Stable diffusion is just recursive noise tested against a data set. Does this bunch of pixels look similar to this stuff? No, do it again. Does that look close to this stuff? No, do it again. That's all it is. It's basically visual autocorrect. And could you imagine reading a book that is just all autocorrect? Would you read that book? No, you wouldn't, because it wouldn't be interesting. It would just be strings of characters that have no real association with each other. And yeah, AI might get really good. AI might get really on the money with certain things and like be able to develop a particular aesthetic of its own, right? But that's always what it's going to be. It's just an aesthetic, meaningless component of human technological development. And that's the meaning of it. Is it's just we are so advanced as a species, we are so advanced as monkeys that we were able to bash rocks together and create technology that can produce a thing. But that's a shortcut. And if you're a real artist, if you're a real musician, if you're a real programmer, or a real producer of a particular product, not in the consumer sense, but production product, if you are a real creator, you need to own that creation. You need to own the process. You need to own it all. Because we are headed into an era of garbage, of shit. Okay, we have the dead internet theory. I have the dead art theory brewing in my head right now, where we're gonna get to a point where the only thing differing a real artist from a fake artist is artistic integrity in the choice to use AI. Because yeah, you might be able to give an AI a crazy prompt that gives you the exact result that you're looking for, right? But that's all it's going to be. It's only going to be based off of what has already been done. And if you are an artist, your focus should be on what hasn't been done recently. What elements can I combine to create something new? And what represents my experience? And produce something through a process. And this can be applied to not just art, to everything, right? For example, I'm an electrician, and I, you know, I don't really know how that applies to that. No, I'm thinking about it, but you get the point. There are no shortcuts. You have to learn. There's a process to things. Okay, that's okay. So as an electrician, you know that you have to do something. I'm not an electrician, so I don't know the all the integral parts of electricity flow and all that stuff. But you know you have a certain process to do something so a house doesn't burn down, so you don't short circuit, so a bunch of bullshit doesn't happen, right? Think of it the same way, right? You do a process and the result is based off of how much work goes into the process. If not a whole lot is going into the process, then it's garbage. I'm sorry. Like, if you sit down and you make a beat for 5 minutes and then just throw some vocals on it and that you call that done, or you have a template and you just throw a bunch of samples into a template and then produce something, like, that's not really an artistic process to me. That's just sort of design at that point. That's just design. You're just designing a product to be produced a certain way constantly, and at that point, it's like AI is going to replace you. Because there's going to be a place for AI. It's going to be in grocery stores. It's Muzak. If you don't know what Muzak was in the 80s and 90s, there was a CD company that was basically royalty free music that you would play in the background at a fucking restaurant or something, because if you didn't really have the money to get one of the publishing organizations like ASCAP, BMI, or CSAC, which are performance rights organizations that, you know, when you play music in a store, that counts as a performance, right? So if you can't afford the performance royalties for a song, you would get Muzak. I know that's a little bit complicated, but AI is Muzak, right? It is going to be hung up in hotel rooms when people don't want to pay for a specific set of art from a art retailer or something, and they just want to print out some art and put it in a fucking frame and put it in their hotel rooms, right? So I'm going off on a big tangent here, but just artistic process is everything. There are no shortcuts. Put the work in, and you will have results if you just put your head down and work, because there's no other way. You can only move through time. You can't just sit there and be like, you're wasting time. That's another thing, is by trying to have this thing produce a result for you. That's a process in itself that is a waste of time. It's a waste. You're wasting your time because the intention is, this is a shortcut, so I'm going to use this shortcut. And all shortcuts produce is short-term results. So if you want longevity as an artist, you want that actual dopamine rush, that serotonin high of creating something that you envision, you have to put the work in. But yeah, peace. I love you guys. Hope you guys had a great Valentine's Day. Have a good one. You know, no shortcuts.